Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to talk about a topic that I've gotten into on Twitter and multiple locations, and I've gotten into with I've disagreed with both Grace Randolph and my boy Josh on Den of Nerds. I've disagreed with all of those guys on this topic. I've disagreed with quite a few people, which is this idea that Disney is going to have a rated R adult section. And that just never quite made sense to me. Now, I've gotten in arguments with people and they pretty much said that, well, they have to, because they have to take advantage. They can't be hamstrung by being kid-friendly, by having anything that can only be PG-13 and PG-14 at the worst. They can't be hamstrung by that. They have to be able to do all those other things and get all those. I'm like, dude, I don't get those people. Because in my book, one, they have Hulu. And I know every time I bring up Hulu, people go, well, Hulu is only in America. But being only in America, it is still one of the top five. It is still like it's still one of the top five viewed, used streaming services. It's still one of the top five. It's still a huge deal, even just being in America. And like granted, maybe they won't expand it, but still they have that as a thing. So I wouldn't see it past them to figure out a way. I got in an argument with a couple guys, and one guy said that the reason they won't expand Hulu is because Hulu has so many other properties and from other companies, which they do. They have some Cartoon Network stuff. They have some stuff from all over the place. They have so many other people's properties that Disney can't expand Hulu because then they would have to go through a deal with everyone else. Which my thought to that is, I think Disney's just going to wait for the contracts with all those other companies and all those other things on Hulu. Some of the Cartoon Network, a lot of the Cartoon Network stuff and the stuff from other, studios will slowly start to go out of Hulu, and then Hulu's just gonna then Hulu's just gonna become the place where Disney puts their rated R content, and then eventually Disney's gonna expand Hulu worldwide and make it the place where they can put their rated R content. I think things got slowed down because of the coronavirus and plans that they wanted to do aren't turning out the way they wanted to do it. I mean, for crying out loud, they were already supposed to have multiple they're already supposed to have some of the movies. Like Black Widow is supposed to be on Disney Plus right now. Like it's supposed to be, done with this theatrical run. It's supposed to be done being out on digital. It's supposed to be done being put out Blu-ray. It's supposed to be on Disney Plus. Mulan's supposed to probably be coming to Disney Plus. It'd be done with this, theatrical stuff and everything, and it'd be coming to Disney Plus maybe in a couple weeks. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier should be on Disney Plus by now. Like they're supposed to have had other big things coming along through the pipeline already. So you gotta imagine, like they're not, and they really just want Disney Plus to be the place where kids can just sit down and watch anything. Like that was the whole original premise of Disney Plus, was so that it could be a location where parents could just sit their kids down and let them go crazy and not have to worry about it. And some people have brought up the parental guidance stuff on there, but that's just for parents who are really safe about it. That's for parents who don't want their kids to see any type of violence. Not even really, really tamed violence. Any type of violence. That's what those parental guides are for. It's not for kids so they can stop kids from seeing rated R stuff. Like that's the point. Like when I get in arguments with guys about this, they're like, well, yeah, that's what it was for, but it has to become this. And the premise why it has to become that is because of Netflix. Because Netflix has rated R stuff and all these other things. But the thing is, Netflix is almost $20 billion in a hole that they will never get out of. Disney isn't. And the thing that Disney has proven, I talked about in another video, Disney was trying to have over 100 million subscribers by 2024. They have 73 million subscribers in a single year. Year's not even over yet. Year's not over. It's still growing. They have 73 million subscribers in a year. The thing about it is, they're fine because Disney is going to use, I've always been under the impression that Disney is going to use the same exact model that they've used in the film industry. Which, if you don't know, Disney doesn't release a lot of movies a year. I believe something along the lines of when last year Disney had a record-breaking year. I think they made $12 billion in the theaters. But the crazy thing about that $12 billion is they didn't really release a ton of movies. They released like they release like 12, 11 movies a year, something like that. They don't release a lot of movies. Like, there are others, now granted, some of that money's coming from other, like, side, movie companies that they technically own. But yeah, Disney technically doesn't really technically only put out half the amount of movies that Warner Brothers, that studios like Warner Brothers and Fox, before they got bought, they did. Like they really don't put out a ton of movies, but the movies they put out are so high, profile, such massive tentpole movies, and make billions of dollars and make so much money that it's as if it's like, well, they don't need to make a ton of movies. And the thing is, Disney doesn't need to overwhelm you with content. That's the whole premise. Like, there's two reasons why people think Disney is gonna have an R-rated section. One is because there are these these bloodthirsty comic book fans, which I've talked about before when I was doing my Disney Won't Make a Rated R MCU movie. There's a section of fandom that are real bloodthirsty and really need to see the most violent, brutal things to feel like this is true to like the guys who think that Thanos getting decapitated on screen wasn't violent enough. Like, the guys who think, oh, I wanted to see his spinal cord and his guts fall out of his head. And it's just like, and then if you ask them, what the hell's wrong with you? They're like, oh, no, I'm just not a baby. But, I digress. Like, there's this section of fandom that are scary. They are scary. The section of fandom that's scary and really just, like, they're really hyped up on sugar and they really just want to see blood and violence and brutality. And they're mad that they can't get that in certain characters because Disney owns it. That's, the Moon Knight thing, there's that section. And then there's another section who are under the indication that more equals better because of Netflix. There's the section of people who have been influenced by Netflix to think that, like, you have to be able to touch every single thing, like, to be the one-stop shop for every single thing, and it's just called Netflix. And then you could just go put the parental guide on and do that, and Netflix, Disney for kids. It's like, but the thing is, that doesn't make any sense to me. If by the way, people don't know this, Disney has tried its best to separate itself from rated R content, to protect its image and its name. The Disney brand means happy family fun. It means Mickey Mouse. It means adventure. It means It means adventure. It means, it means all those big positive words. The fact that once you open the door to the Disney name being directly attached to rated R stuff, then you open the door to other questions. Why not have a alien theme park at Disney World? Why not have a Predator theme park at Disney World? Why not have why not have some other kind of violent creature theme park at Disney World? Because that's what you're opening the door to. Because that's just what it is. It's the reason why Disney bought a company like Touchstone and produced Pulp Fiction. Some people don't even know that, because I remember this one guy tried to tell me, he was like, well, Disney owns rated R stuff now. Disney has always been producing rated R stuff. As I said, they produced one of the most violent and one of Tarantino's classics, Pulp Fiction, but they didn't do it under their names, because that's what Disney's about. Bob Iger said a long time ago, and I really took this to heart, and it really just kind of stuck with me, is that when they were asking him about Deadpool and doing R-rated things, he was just like, yeah, we can do that as long as we let the audience know what's going on, like the specific branding. And in my mind, I started thinking, there's no way they're going to make a rated R MCU thing, because then there's going to be an entire section of your core audience that can't even watch one of your movies. You know what I mean? And like, I know people kind of discredit kids when, especially in the comic book industry, like comic book side of things. People really discredit kids, and they hate the idea of like even acknowledging kids as, a big deal in the big, money-making thing. But the kids are a massive deal. And Disney Plus was made to appeal to the families. Families, not you. And the people who think Disney Plus should get a R-rated section are just thinking about themselves. Like, I want to see something R-rated. I want to see this thing. They're not thinking about the actual business perspective. It makes no sense business-wise for them to make an R-rated section. It makes no sense business-wise for you to muddy the Disney name with that stuff, with all that stuff, because it just opens a can of worms to ask even more questions. And it makes Hulu almost obsolete, because if you're going to start cherry-picking adult stuff to put on Disney Plus, the best adult stuff, because Disney Plus is your A brand, Then it's kind of started going, well, why don't you just take all the best things from Hulu? Fuck, I just put Handmaid's Tale on Disney Plus Adult and say it's an original. You know what? Why wouldn't you just do that? Then it would make it stupid. The whole thing would Hilary Duff over Lizzie McGuire, which apparently Disney didn't like that direction it was going in because they didn't like the adult stuff that, like, some of the more edgier near adult stuff they were doing. The Love Simon spinoff, Love Victor, they took that off because of how raunchy it was and put it on Hulu. Like, otherwise, none of that makes any sense. None of that makes any sense. There are too many evidence to the contrary. I don't believe Disney's going to make an R-rated section. I just wanted to make this video to have my opinion known out there. I don't believe Grace or anyone else who's been pressing that Disney's going to make an adult-rated section, especially when they own Hulu, especially when they own FX and other locations to put adult content, and especially when they have been so precious about their image, and like the image means everything to them, and being that place where kids can just sit down and watch and be in that location of those things. They don't need that R-rated stuff. Some people think they need it. They don't. When you have some of the biggest properties on the planet, all you need is those. All they need is Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar. As long as they got those, as long as they have their name means more. Their name, their back catalog, the remakes, the amount of movies that come out in theaters that they can put on there, and big original content from those big names, that's all they need. Like I said, 73 million subscribers with only 3 big openings. Outings on the service. So thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show, and comment below. Do you think Disney Plus will have an adult section? I don't believe so, but maybe you can change my mind. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. I'll see you in the next one.